Hello, November 1st, 8:17 p.m. This is like I've been sounding this alarm for weeks now to no to complete passivity. So let me see if I can shout it. It's on CNBC, so it's true. It's not disinformation. I'm always telling the truth. I'm giving real information. Hello, hello, America. I know you're in psychosis and stupor. Wake up, wake up. The trucking, that's our transportation industry, rail that run on diesel will shut down in 14 days. CNBC is telling us this now. Let me just take a shot here. Diesel market in
Today,
perfect storm.
diesel market is in a perfect storm as prices surge and supply dwindles ahead of winter. But check out this key takeaway that I circled, and I'm going to read it for you because I know that's too small. Diesel reserves have not been this low since 1951. And a ban on Russian products set for next year will intensify competition for that fuel. So next year, we have more bans coming, more sanctions. In fact, on February 5th, a ban on refined Russian products.
Okay, did everybody get that? I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. These people have how many? 718 comments. Millions of viewers. I'm giving the same information here. Not only this, but all over the place. That's real information that could be really helpful for people that have to prepare and see that what this means. Everything shuts down. That means you're not going to get any food on the shelves. That means, and this is just the beginning of a tsunami of events that the liars in the press have kept covered up and keeping everybody distracted with the Pelosi hammer or this or that and the other thing, which I also speak about. What is really going on is we will get a cascading series of crises, and then we'll have an introduction of a digital currency system with sign on the dotted line. Believe it or not, this is happening. It's happening in reality. Klaus Schwab described it years ago at the World Economic Forum. It's called communism, okay? For those of you who voted for communism, this is what it is. It doesn't work really for the citizens because they have no freedom. They have no freedom of movement. They have no freedom of speech. They have no freedom of possessions. They don't own anything. Klaus Schwab says it. You will not own anything. This is going to happen. You will not own anything. I know a lot of you will be happy because you don't own anything anyway. I'm talking about the middle class. You won't own a house, you won't own a car, you won't own anything. This is promised to you by the World Economic Forum. And you will be happy. Well, no, they actually should be saying, you will own nothing and we will be happy. The World Economic, the leaders you all trust, the news media, your politicians, your church leaders, your gurus, whoever is way up at that apex that you're worshiping doesn't care about you. The Bob Dylans, the David Bowies, all these people, Bob is coming, Bob is coming. Oh, Meher Baba is coming, Meher Baba is coming. Oh, Yogananda Sadhguru is coming. The Dalai Lama will be in town. We have to go see him. You think they care? Sadhguru, who has the biggest following of not too clued in people, obviously. They haven't researched this guy's past like I have. He speaks at where else but the World Economic Forum. He's like the Pope. We got to get rid of all these guns. In Canada, they're getting rid of all the guns. They're getting rid of handguns now. So they're going to get rid of all the guns here. They have to get rid of all the guns because people are not going to have any freedom, and the ones with guns are going to be objecting to that. So they'll, upstate New York or New York's state, the governor has passed state legislation now so that your neighbor can report somebody with guns and say they're a danger to the community. Oh, they yelled at me on the lawn and he has guns. He threatened me. Okay, knock, knock, knock. Mr. Jones, we've got a report. Come out here. We are going to have to confiscate your weapons, sir. You have been reported by somebody. We can't tell you who, but you're going to have to surrender those weapons, sir. Or you'll go to jail. What? I didn't do anything. I haven't called anybody. I haven't made any threats. I don't have anything. Well, no, this we've got a report, sir. We've got a report, sir. You've turned in all those weapons. That's state by state. I hope, like, when this happens, that somebody will actually believe the next thing out of my mouth when I'm sitting at a coffee shop or I'm sitting at with the Bible people who are all talking about, oh, God told me this, and I'm getting I've set my check in, and so I'm getting Sadhguru gave me my mantra, and the third eye is opening, and everything is peaceful, and yeah, I'm doing really well. I've got I've got my yoga business is doing great. Well, it's not nothing is to be doing great when the stock market crashes. They're propping this baby up till they get to the election. They've got brain dead candidates. They've got a brain dead president. They meaning the ruling elite. They actually exist. It's called the unseen hand. They always have existed. They're always going to exist, and everything that's in the controlled media narrative, 99% of it is entertainment. They're just like the CNBC report. Then you get that little piece of news. By the way, in just 2 weeks, the trucking industry and the rail transport system is going to shut down. And where is the food going to come from? That's the bread basket. Well, you've already got it stocked up. We've got all these insect burgers. I'm looking at the local food store. They've got more insect burgers than they do. Oh, I'm sorry, plant-based food. I don't know what's the plants. What's the plant? You don't really know what it is, other than it's a lot of chemicals, and other than it's being sold as health food and anything because of the hippie revolution. It's plants, it's good. Plants are good. You have some belladonna, it's good. Yeah, have some poison ivy, rub this on your skin. Plant anything that's a plant is good. Ayahuasca, yeah, whoa, I've seen God, I've seen God. Yeah, oh, and it cures PTSD, and it's great for you. Just take your THC and you'll be feeling great. You're neutralized. It's just like take your alcohol, take your CBDs and THCs, and oh, I'm feeling fine. I feel so much better now. I don't have the anxiety. Yeah, or 6 pack of beer works, and if you're not confident, if then take some cocaine. If you think there's you need to get some energy and some enthusiasm and go out and sell the product. Well, get some caffeine. Get it's 3 or 4 caffeines. It works for me. I just had a Red Bull. I've had 2 or 3 Red Bulls. Before I go on, I just, just that's my sense of humor. No, I haven't even had a glass of wine for the last week. I'm kept awake by this sounding the alarm and sounding the alarm to an empty house. Let me see what else I can come up with. All right, hold on. All right, let me put it in context before I go to why this is significant. This is according to biblical prophecy. We know from our reading in the Bible, that those of us who happen to read it and don't listen to the prosperity people and don't listen to we're going to have a big revival, and don't listen to the Buddha's people and don't but listen to the scriptures and the people who listen to the scriptures and speak through the scripture, that we know this whole system has to collapse for the beast system, the Antichrist to come. The whole global system has to collapse. And this is also part of Freemasonry, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, the new WO, the Laudato Si of Pope Francis. I was just looking at a one of these videos of all the false teachers, all the Protestants. They threw Pope Francis in there for one, kind of heavy duty to see that. But it's T.D. Jakes and it's Beth Joyce Meyer and it's Beth Moore. All these people I have never really seen except as Lunatic Fringe. But the Lunatic Fringe is probably 90% Mike Bickle of International House of Prayer. So no wonder most people think of Christianity as insanity, as a form of, Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormon Church, or, where they have polygamy. That's just out of the question. Reggae polygamy. It's not Christianity. Then you have the Kanye West people. Then you have Tom Hanks. Madonna's a Christian. Hillary Clinton's a Christian. That's not Christianity. Christianity is people who read just this. They don't have. They have to go directly to Scripture, and they have to take some. I'm just trying to point people in the right direction and the right structure, that we're in end times, and there is really serious when the entire financial system is globally. China's collapsing too. The BRICS country are creating a new currency. America is threatening everybody all over the globe with a nuclear war. And the news reports it as if Vladimir Putin is it's war crimes, war crimes. And this is what the Christian community, I'm aware of here, are buying. We're the good guys, they're the bad guys. We have to stop evil everywhere. And it's not just the Christian community, it's the major narrative of Hollywood. What is Hollywood? Well, that's a propaganda system. That's all it is. It's not art. Give me a break. Oh, Top Gun is art. Oh, what Fargo is art. Oh, Reservoir Dogs, that's real art. The Last Temptation of Christ, it's all propaganda. It's feeding. Orange is the New Black. Oh, that's art. Sex and the City. Oh, I got to read the original book it's based on. I'm talking to high school teachers. One is a Christian that tells me Sex and the City is really well written. It's like not as well as Harold Robbins. You should read some Jacqueline Suzanne from the 70s. I'm glad you're teaching Sex and the City as literature to your high school students. No wonder, Jack and Jill is written well too. It's complete sentences and everything. Why don't you teach them, Dr. Seuss? Oh no, that isn't written well. It's got all those weird words. Oh, then teach them, Beatrix Potter. What I'm saying is that this is a total con job that we're getting from the press. You have somebody who's limited intellectually, let's put it that way, since I don't want to throw insulting words around. But I don't know, Karen LaPierre or whatever, talking with Wolf Blitzer. I mean, this is not the Kennedy cabinet, right? It's not FDR's cabinet. This is the lowest level American presidency, any presidency in history. Caligula's cabinet, I'm sure, or Nero's cabinet had more intellectual firepower than a guy who's a vegetable. He has Alzheimer's. There's nothing funny about it. Who's pulling the strings on this is the NWO. So you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the fact that they're shutting the whole thing down. They're going to collapse the whole system, and then they're going to feed in this new digital currency, which is being created and is being tested already in Holland, where people are having their carbon emissions monitored. So you'll have a certain amount that you can spend for a month. This is what it's designed to do, on a card, on a chip, on a coin. I don't know whether you have currency as well as coins, but there is the currency that's coming into being that's directly tapped into the Federal Reserve Bank. That's your bank now. The Federal Reserve Bank is the bank. It's a one world bank. It's a one world religion. That's what the beast system is. The Antichrist rules the world. This is according to the Bible, which is not a fable. It's not a bunch of mystery men, who knows who they were, and John of Patmos was crazy, and all the crap with the postmodernists, the Elaine Pagels from Yale University. It's as if people think if somebody has a degree from Yale University, they can write the Bible or they can reinterpret the Bible. Give them a pen and just take dictation. It's the same thing with the Jesus calling woman, Sarah Young. Oh, she's getting dictated to from God. Really? She's like one of the prophets, or the Course of Miracles with what's her name, who ran for president. When I was in Denver, I went to a metaphysical bookstore. Friends at metaphysical bookstores, I go around, say, "Oh, did you hear Mary Ann Williamson?" or whatever is Williamson, I think, who wrote the Course of Miracles or teaches the Course of Miracles. Who can keep up with the insanity? Conversations with God guy, Neil Gordon Moore. They've all got this huge Carlos Castaneda. I don't care. It's just they're always going to have a large group of nutty people who want to believe in the teachings of Don Juan Antonio Ruiz or Carlos Castaneda, or think that the Toltec religion was filled with wisdom. Yeah, their wisdom was sacrificing virgins, sacrificing women and children, and throwing them into either cutting their hearts out, or if you're mine, you throw them into you throw them into the water supply. For those of you who haven't been down to Mexico, it's not exactly a Christian religion, it's a pagan religion. And that's what we've got going on here. And that's why we are in end times. That's my rest my case. Let me go and see what else I can find so somebody else can maybe say a few words. Since you don't believe me, maybe who would I find? Jeffrey Sachs. You believe the president of Columbia University, who's resigned, which is the same as Harvard University president resigning, or Yale University president. It's one of the top brainwashing schools, indoctrination schools. So there's a resignation at one of them. And what's he saying? Let's just take a look. Okay, this is Sachs, and he minces his words, but he knows that the Russians did not invade Ukraine without being provoked. But the important thing is where we are now. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past, but just how far these lunatics are going to go to make sure that this war not only continues but escalates.
The desired outcome. I don't understand it. I don't understand how it could conceivably be achieved. We think that weapon systems and sanctions and fighting will wear down Putin or get him overthrown, and something will change, and Russia will go home because they realize that this is not worth it for them. And maybe the US model, and by US, I don't mean us, the American people, we have no part in any of this. The model of those who are prosecuting the US side of this is that it's like Afghanistan or Vietnam was for the United States, that after it gets sufficiently bloody and useless, you just go home. I think there's a huge difference, which is that from Putin's perspective, but I think it's more general than that. It's not just one person. From the perspective of the Russian political actors and elites, the situation in Ukraine is not like America in Vietnam or America in Afghanistan. It's exactly in the neighborhood. And so it's viewed in Russia, I think, I'm not find any credibility in what comes out of this. So I think the idea of an independent and transparent investigation would be great, but I'm not holding my breath. So the U.S. may say something. Again, I'm 67 years old. It took me a long time to grow up to know that almost everything we hear is not true. We are a security state. We have a secret state, which runs most of our foreign and military policy, of course, and we don't hear the real thing. So I'm not putting too much stock in what the U.S. comes up with. I'm a little.
Okay, that's one of the New World Order guys, right, who's saying that he doesn't put any stock in anything any of them say. He's one of them. He just resigned. As he says, everything we hear is not true. It's all a false narrative. What Donald Trump said was absolutely, it's fake news. It's all fake news. Fox is fake news. Trump wasn't saying, the left is lying, the liberals are, he's saying everything is lying. And that's, he should know he's up there with them. And everything he said was accurate when he told the Russians, he told the Germans that they're completely reliant on Russian gas. And if something happens to that supply, they're in big trouble. So they should start going to the US for their energy sources. Like what he was building was the US. And then the Biden administration came in and destroyed the oil industry. And now we have this guy, Fetterman, who has a stroke, who can't talk a complete English sentence. And he is for fracking. And he used to be not for fracking because that was the whole Democratic platform. But he's in Pennsylvania, and guess what? It's destroyed the whole working class in Pennsylvania that was reliant on having jobs, having well-paid jobs in the oil industry. And also, America needs this fuel for their trucks and for the gasoline vehicles. So this is a purposefully designed plan to make people have to have electric cars. And they write legislation in Congress, the Pelosi's, Mr. Hammerhead, and the legislation is knowing what companies are going to get subsidized by the American government. So what Biden did, and he says that it in his debate with Trump, we're going to stop subsidizing the oil industry, and we're going to subsidize electric cars and wind and solar panels. Well, how's that going to work? Because without the oil, you can't make any of these cars and the tires and everything, the glass and what have you. So, but we're going to put it. It's absolutely, Biden's just an idiot. Sorry for saying this, but he's just got a script. It's the new world people that want to destroy the entire economy and have us having complete dependence on a currency that's going to be coming around the bend in another month or so, and it's going to be tracking everything everybody does in terms of what they do, where they go, what they spend their money on, how much they're allowed to spend on energy, how much gas they can use, how much this or that energy that went into producing beef. You'll pay so many credits, and you have to use it month by month, so you can't store up and save credits. These are all the things that I've heard and read about. I'm speculating partly that that's correct information, but the stuff about that's being reported about the energy is correct. The biblical stuff is correct. The Jeffrey Sachs stuff about what we're doing in the nuclear arms insanity, threatening Saudi Arabia and threatening South Africa and threatening North Korea now. We're just going to threaten everybody because not we. It's destabilizing, so everybody's scared. That's what the beast system is. Then a man of peace. The Antichrist isn't going to appear as a maniac who's killing people. He's going to appear as the man of peace. That we have to stop all these wars. We have to come together, people, and fight against the common enemy, the climate. How do we fight against the common enemy, the climate? Oh, we stop consuming. We tighten our belts. We don't we're not able to drive our cars. We're not the sovereign, not the monarchy or whatever you want to call the new priesthood. They have to be able to go around to their resorts and have their conferences and have to, have just like that's what communism is. Where did the communists go? Or it's like what fascism is. Where did they go? Meanwhile, everybody else is busy making the war machine. We got to build these weapons. We got to build these weapons of destruction, mass destruction. We've got to destroy people that are unlike us. We got to just trust our neighbor. We got to, get guns together and stockpile them. So I'm dissuading people from taking that approach of the militaristic approach, because I don't see that there's going to be any resistance that isn't going to be swiftly put down. And what everybody does in terms of preparation has to be spiritual preparation. It has to be spiritual preparation. It has to be, there's an irony in the fact that it has to be giving up one's possessions. That's what Jesus said. So there is the fascinating deceitfulness and deviousness of the devil to use Christianity, just like the Pope is doing, to tell people, we can't hate, we can't own anything. Jesus was like that. And then he'll be, where is he? The most, extravagant quarters of anybody you've ever seen, the kind of luxury of the Borgias or the commissars or the whatever Napoleonic high command, that the Templars and the Jesuits and the Knights of the Golden Dawn and the Knights of the Golden Order, or the Knights of Malta, or the Rosicrucians, or the Freemasons, etc., etc. That's where it's at. That's just the reality of it. That's it for this evening. I'm not going to do any more, because this is all giving me a agitation. There's a certain amount of getting a really clear message out that is being thrown out just because it doesn't jive with what people want, which is what the preachers and the teachers and the government is continually saying. It's going to be okay, we just keep doing the same thing you've always been doing, and be number one. We're always going to be number one, and we're going to fight. We'll defeat the communists in China, and we'll defeat the North Koreans, and we'll defeat OPEC, and we're going to lecture the world on how you better take our system or else. And then it's going to blow up in our faces soon enough. And getting out of that belief system is really critical. It's imperative to withdraw from these delusions of grandeur, that there's something special about us, that there's something, that we're anointed by God, or that we're the sword of Jesus, that he's the one with the sword, not us. We're the ones who are supposed to be praying and not violent and not fighting each other or the government or anyone or whoever the directorship of the government tells us to attack. So God bless everybody and stay safe.